Dallas has spent decades growing in one direction, north. Plano, Frisco, Prosper, Salina. Every year, billions of dollars have followed that path, while the southern side of Dallas has remained one of the most talked about and least understood parts of the city for now. One developer believes that story is about to change. Near UNT Dallas is an area many people broadly call Southern Dallas, but locals know as Highland Hills. Hoque Global is planning a billion-dollar community called University Hills. The vision is not just to build another neighborhood. It's to create an entirely new economic center in a part of Dallas that has been underestimated for generations. The question is, can one development change decades of investment patterns? Or is this Dallas's most ambitious real estate gamble? Dallas is one of America's fastest growing metropolitan areas. One of the largest undeveloped tracts of land near downtown is not north of the city, it's south. Just minutes from downtown Dallas sits roughly 270 acres near UNT Dallas in the Highland Hills area. For years, this land represented unrealized potential. Today, it's the site of one of the largest mixed-use developments planned inside Dallas city limits. University Hills is not competing with the subdivision down the street. It is attempting to redefine how this part of Dallas grows for the next generation. And that's why this project matters. Because this is not just a real estate story. It's a perception story, a transportation story, an investment story. And for many people who live in this part of the city, it's a question of whether Southern Dallas will finally receive the same level of ambition that North Texas has seen everywhere else. If you enjoy objective breakdowns of Dallas development, real estate, and the economics behind North Texas growth, subscribe to the Dallas Insider. To understand University Hills, you first have to ask a question Dallas has been wrestling with for decades. Why has private investment been so uneven across the city? Oak Cliff, South Dallas, Cedar Crest, Pleasant Grove, Highland Hills, Redbird. These are not empty places. These are established communities with history, culture, homeowners, churches, lots of churches, schools, restaurants, and generations of families. But when people talk about major corporate campuses, destination retail, luxury mixed-use districts, and large-scale private development, the conversation usually moves north. Developers and investors will often point to market fundamentals, household income, retail demand, crime perception, financing risks, comparable sales, and population growth. But the reality is more complicated. Many of these neighborhoods are predominantly minority communities, and while this story does not need to become only about race, it is impossible to ignore the way perception, history, and investment patterns have shaped the map of Dallas. For years, Southern Dallas has been described as having potential. The harder question is why that potential has taken so long to attract capital at scale. University Hills is one attempt to answer that question. Instead of building another suburban subdivision, Hoque Global wants to build an entire district. Plans call for residential neighborhoods, apartments, retail, restaurants, office space, hotels, parks, walking trails, and eventually more than 1 million square feet of commercial development. The idea is to create a place where people can live, work, study, shop, and gather without the entire experience depending on a car. This is a major shift for this area because much of Southern Dallas has developed around highways, large roads, and disconnected pockets of activity. University Hills is trying to do something different. It's trying to create a center of gravity, a place that pulls people in, not just from Highland Hills, not just from UNT, but from across the Metroplex. One of the most interesting pieces of this project is not above ground, it's underground. Hoque Global's University Hills project has been selected as one of the winners in the Boring Company's Tunnel Vision Challenge, with a proposed tunnel connecting University Hills to the UNT Dallas DART station. That station sits on DART's Blue Line, which connects UNT Dallas north through downtown Dallas and continues all the way to downtown Rowlett. If this tunnel moves forward, it could give University Hills something many master plan communities do not have: a direct connection to regional rail. That matters because one of the biggest challenges for Southern Dallas has always been connectivity, not just whether roads exist, but whether people from other parts of the Metroplex see this area as accessible, convenient, and worth visiting. A tunnel to DART will not solve every problem, though, but symbolically it is important. It says this development is not trying to sit isolated from the rest of Dallas. It's trying to connect into the broader city. A major part of the University Hill story is UNT Dallas. But it is not the only college that matters here. Quinn College has been part of this area for decades and has played a major role in Southern Dallas's educational and civic identity. Together, UNT Dallas and Quinn represent something developers often look for but cannot manufacture: an existing base of students, faculty, alumni, institutional history, and community connection. Across the country, universities often become anchors for long-term economic growth. They attract talent, talent attracts employers, employers attract housing, housing supports restaurants and retail. Over time, an ecosystem develops. University Hills is betting that this same pattern can happen in Southern Dallas. Not overnight, but over the next 20 years. One mistake outsiders often make is talking about Southern Dallas as if nothing is already there. That is not true. This part of the city already has culture. It already has identity. It already has institutions. And if you know Dallas, you know this area has long been home to some of the city's best soul food and neighborhood staples. Places like Sweet Georgia Brown's, Records Barbecue, and for years Rudy's Chicken was part of that area's food identity before closing. These are the kinds of places that do not always show up in the development brochures, but they shape how people actually experience a neighborhood. There's always been real progress. The deck park near the Dallas Zoo is changing how people think about the connection between Oak Cliff and the rest of the city. Wynwood Village has seen reinvestment. The shops at Redbird have become one of the most important redevelopment stories in Southern Dallas. So University Hills is not happening in a vacuum. It is part of a larger question. Can Southern Dallas move from scattered progress to sustained momentum? Of course. Big visions are easy. Execution is difficult. Master plan communities take years, sometimes decades, to fully mature. Success depends on residents moving in, retailers opening stores, employers leasing office space, interest rates, housing demand, public infrastructure, and the broader Dallas economy. Hoque Global has already secured partnerships with national home builders, giving the residential side of the project an important head start. But housing alone will not determine whether University Hills succeeds. The real test is whether businesses, restaurants, and entertainment concepts and investors choose this part of Dallas with the same confidence they have shown in places farther north. That's the shift people will be watching. Not just whether homes are built, but whether perception changes. For decades, Southern Dallas has been described as a place full of potential, but potential eventually reaches a point where someone has to invest. Hoque Global has decided to make that bet. And if University Hills works, the impact could go beyond new homes and new storefronts. It could bring more people from North Dallas, Frisco, Plano, and the broader Metroplex into an area they may have rarely visited, for entertainment, for restaurants, for events, and maybe even to live. That would be a major shift. It's happened in Bishop Arts, it's starting to happen near Fair Park. Perhaps it can happen in Highland Hills. Because the future of Dallas cannot only be written north of downtown. At some point, the city has to decide whether growth will remain concentrated in the same familiar places or whether Southern Dallas will finally become part of the region's new major development chapter. University Hills may not answer that question immediately, but it has already forced the conversation to change. And that may be the project's biggest achievement so far. To my Dallas insiders, dare I say, do you think University Hills can become the catalyst Southern Dallas has been waiting for? Or do you think the challenges outweigh the opportunity? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, if it brought you any value, entertainment, information, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the Dallas Insider for more in-depth analysis of the project shaping North Texas. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.